Hi, welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. This is Maria Liberati. What does food mean to you? Well, we're going to find out in this episode. Happy spring, happy Easter, happy Passover. Hope you're having a great week. This week's segment will include an interview with my special guest, Chef Dean Nole. He's actually a chef and an actor. Dean studied the culinary arts in Italy. He is co-owner of a great restaurant cafe in Utica, New York called Cafe CaNole. Get it? CaNole. He owns it with his brother. And Dean specializes in authentic Italian pastries, but he was also in a film with one of my favorite actors, Paul Sorvino. Paul filmed one of his latest movies in Utica, New York, and Dean was lucky enough to get a small part in the movie. So he's going to tell us all about that and some things about the set, when they were on the movie set, and some of the things he cooked up for St. Joseph's Day, which is a big Italian holiday, and they celebrated at Cafe CaNole, and what he's cooking up for Easter. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to help us travel all around the world for Easter because, many of us can't travel due to the current conditions in the world, but we can travel through our mind and our words. So we're going to go to 10 different traditions for Easter for spring holidays around the world. So stay tuned. And of course, I'm going to share a recipe with you. And I'd just like to remind everyone that we still have some time to join me on my virtual Easter bake-along with Chef Joe Borio. That will be this Friday, April 2nd, from 2 to about 4:30 p.m. on Zoom. We'll be doing a virtual bake-along. I will be doing a traditional Italian Easter bread. It's called treccia con limone, and it's a braided lemon Easter bread made with ricotta cheese. It's really good. It's kind of from my days filming in Amalfi with those wonderful lemons, Amalfi, Italy. So the bread has ricotta and lemon. It's really delicious, and it's not that difficult to make. I chose this one because it's not a stressful bread to make. I think everyone will enjoy making it, but it is traditional. I know it's a tradition in my family, and it is one of the traditional Easter breads. So please join us. Registration is limited, but there are still some places available. You can go to my website at marialiberati.com. Or you can just go to eventbrite.com and look up this event and look up Maria Liberati. But on the front of my website, you will see a banner with the virtual Easter bake-along. So please join us. I hope you will, and I'll enjoy meeting everyone also. It's always fun to see everyone. And if you want more recipes, I'll be sharing another recipe today, but if you want more recipes, you can get my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, and The Basic Art of. You can get those books at marialiberati.com, amazon.com, Kindle, and anywhere books are sold. So there is The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Holidays and Special Occasions, which these are all culinary memoirs that include recipes and tips and just memoirs of my life mostly in Italy. And The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Da Vinci Style. Well, that's a real interesting book that I got to research when I was in Italy, and it's 10 chapters, and it's devoted to Leonardo da Vinci. Each chapter is devoted to a city or town that Da Vinci lived in, and the special recipes that are traditional from that town, and also what Da Vinci did when he lived in that place in Italy. So it was a fascinating book for me to do. I always get asked to do presentations on the book, and everybody enjoys the book. So those are the books and the Basic Art of series. You can also find those again at marialiberati.com, artoflivingprimamedia.com, or anywhere books are sold. And now for our mini holiday Easter trip around the world. Here are the traditional Easter holiday foods from all around the world. So, and I'm not sure, I don't speak all these languages. You know, I speak Italian, I speak a little French, I can speak a little Spanish, and I know a few words in many different languages, but some of these languages I'm not really familiar with. So excuse my pronunciation. But the first one is from Greece, and I'm going to try and pronounce this. It's Arnistoforno, and that's Arnistofourno. I believe that's how you would pronounce it. And very few Easter meals are complete without lamb in some form. Served roasted, this is a lamb dish. It's completed by being served with extra ingredients such as potatoes, garlic cloves, salt and pepper, and rosemary. Hot cross buns. They're one of my favorite. And that is a tradition in the UK, in the United Kingdom. But many countries do use hot cross buns for the spring, any spring holidays, and for Easter. And they're often topped with currants or raisins, but you could honestly use whatever you like. I think even slivered almonds or walnuts would really make them even yummier. In Cyprus, there is a dish called Flaonis, Flaounes, and these are also called cheese pies. That's an easier way to say it. The process of making these treats starts on Holy Friday or Good Friday and continue to be baked all throughout Holy Saturday. They're often filled with cheese, eggs, raisins, and mint fillings. That sounds like something I would love to try. Ecuador, there's something called finesca. This is a soup that's prepared for Easter, making it all the more special in the country of Ecuador. Several ingredients, including many vegetables and at least one type of cod, go into this soup every year. In Russia, now this I am really not sure of how to pronounce, so Kulebiaka. Kulebiaka. This may take some time to cook, but it's well worth the wait. This dish translates to rectangular pie, and it's often filled with meat or fish. Created design on top with a crust to make it even more festive. Easter bunny brioche, that's another one I'd really love to have, and that's from Germany. Take a break from chocolate bunnies and create an Easter bunny out of dough this year. Creating these treats is both delicious and adorable, and they can either be made from scratch or pre-made dough. These dough bunnies are sure to make any child smile. So in Italy, we also have, besides all of the different breads that we do for Easter, there's also something called a torta pasqualina, and that's like an Easter pie. And this one is filled with herbs, cheese, and eggs. This perfect addition to any Easter feast is a tradition in Italy, and I can just remember having that as an appetizer. My grandmother would make it as an appetizer. We would have some of this torta pasqualina and just sit around and talk and, wait for all of our family to arrive. So I have good memories eating torta pasqualina. In Poland, there's something called mazurek, and that is a dessert. And let's see, from the type of dough to the type of filling, this Polish dessert can come in all shapes, sizes, and flavors. So it's no wonder this pastry is on many Easter menus in Poland. Then we have from Spain something called La Mona de Pascua. And it's a dessert. It's a cake. It's a delightful cake that signifies the end of Lent in Spain. It's most commonly created in the shape of a giant donut, and there's no right or wrong way to decorate it. In the United States, well, I know we have many traditions, but because eggs are used specifically for Easter, deviled eggs are served on many tables here in the United States for Easter. So, deviled eggs are really easy to make, and you can really do a lot with them. Just slice a hard-boiled egg in half, and you can add, usually it's mayonnaise and mustard to the egg yolk. Take out the egg yolk, add mayonnaise, mustard, pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper. You can add onions, celery. I love to add celery chopped real fine. And then put the mashed egg yolk back into the egg white. Put some paprika, sprinkle some paprika on top, and it makes it really colorful and delicious. And there you have it, the 10 traditional Easter holiday foods from all around the world. While most children awakened to Easter morning with thoughts of candy-filled baskets, for me, the enticing aroma of fresh Easter bread baking in the oven drifted throughout the house and called me to the kitchen table, where I would be greeted on Easter morning by the welcome sight of the pane di Pasqua al uova. It's the Easter egg bread. It's a traditional Italian Easter egg bread. Traditionally, this special bread was shaped in a wreath shape, but today some bake this bread in the form of rabbits, or even if you're artistic, you can make a fancy Easter basket. You can make the dough into the shape of a fancy Easter basket, decorate it with slivered almonds or brightly colored sprinkles and multicolored Easter eggs. The traditional Easter egg bread always adds a special touch to this festive day. And it just brings back memories of Easter mornings. And here's the recipe if you want to try this Easter bread. This is one of the traditional Easter breads. Again, we'll be doing another one that is a lemon ricotta, treccia di limone. It's a lemon ricotta Easter bread. We'll be doing that on April 2nd at my Easter event, which will be on Zoom. And again, you can register for that on Eventbrite. This is another version of an Easter bread. And here's the ingredients: 6 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of sugar, 2 small packages of dry yeast, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 cups of milk, juice from 1 fresh lemon, grated peel from 1 fresh lemon, a teaspoon of anise flavoring, 6 tablespoons of butter cubed, 4 eggs, a 1/4 cup of slivered almonds, 3 hard-cooked eggs, some olive oil, and 2 tablespoons of cold water. In a large mixing bowl, combine 2 cups of flour, sugar, yeast, cinnamon, and salt. In a saucepan, heat the milk and butter to about 120 degrees Fahrenheit to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Then what you're going to do is add that to the dry ingredients and blend just until moistened. Add in 3 eggs, beat until smooth, then place in the grated lemon peel, lemon juice, anise flavoring. Stir in enough remaining flour to form a soft dough. Turn out onto a floured surface. Knead until smooth and elastic, about 6 to 8 minutes. Place in a greased bowl. So when I say a greased bowl, you're going to grease it lightly coat it with butter or olive oil. Actually, you can just coat it with olive oil, turning once to grease the top. So once you've greased the bowl with some olive oil, you're going to rub olive oil on it. Put the dough in there, then turn the dough around so that the top has the olive oil on it, and that's going to cover the top. Then what you're going to do is cover this with a towel or some plastic and let this rise in a warm place until the dough has doubled. That would be about 45 minutes to an hour. You're going to dye the hard cooked eggs. You're going to dye them whatever colors that you want them and lightly rub them with oil so they're kind of glossy. Set those aside. Then what you're going to do is place the dough on a lightly floured surface. Divide the dough into thirds. Shape each portion into a 24-inch rope. So you're going to cover a baking sheet with parchment paper, and you're going to put the ropes on the parchment paper and braid the ropes, bringing the ends together to form a ring. Pinch the ends to seal and gently separate the braided ropes, and then tuck in the dyed eggs. You can do 2 or 3 or 4 into the openings. Sprinkle almonds on the top, and you could also sprinkle colored sprinkles as well to give it some color if you like to add some color. You're going to then cover that again with cover it with a towel or plastic and let that rise until it won't totally double, but it will definitely should get larger than what it was. So let it stay for about 20 minutes and you'll see it will rise even more. Then you're going to beat water and egg together, and you're going to gently brush that over the dough because that's going to make the dough shine. And you're going to bake this all at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about a half an hour, 28 to 32 minutes, or until golden brown. Remove from the pan to a wire rack to cool. When you're done eating, if you have any leftover, always refrigerate the leftovers.
Hi, and today we are welcoming, I have somebody that is just going to share some delicious, really delicious things with us today. If you saw my quick segment on Facebook Live, again, we have Dean Nole with us. He is a chef, and he's the co-owner of a marvelous place in Utica, New York. It's called Cafe Nole. And we're all trying to support restaurants out there. So you definitely, if you get a chance to go to Utica, New York, that's where it is. It's a must stop place, especially if you are one of the many that can't get to Italy this year. It's one of the most authentic Italian experiences for food that you can have. If you can't go to Italy, you definitely want to stop there. But even whether or not, it's just a place that's really worth stopping to savor all their pastries. Dean is also, as I mentioned, a chef, and he's also an actor. So we're going to have some fun with Dean today. He's going to share recipes, tell us about the film he was in. And Dean, I want to ask you about that marvelous, St. Joseph's Day, just for everybody, was March 19th. So we're about a couple of days past that. But Dean, so welcome, actually, and thanks for having us.
No, thank you for having me, Maria. I'm excited.
Yes, so tell us about the St. Joseph's feast that you had. It's a big feast for anybody that doesn't know. It's Father's Day in Italy, and they do all kinds of amazing pastries and things. And Cafe Nole also had a big celebration, I understand, correct?
Yes, it was our 25th year that we've been open, and we've been doing this event. We usually have some of the local priests come up and do the blessing of the St. Joseph's bread. My brother Jason and myself are excited because each year it gets bigger and bigger. And even last year, with the crazy year we all had, we were able to stretch San Giuseppe out to the whole week, and we did a lot of to-go dinners and pastries. And, two of the most popular pastries that we do for St. Joseph's is the Sfingi di Ricotta and the Zeppala with the custard. The Zeppala is from the Napoli region, and the Sfingi is from Sicily. We fried this year a record. We did 1,400 of the pastries. So it was incredible. It was incredible to the point we actually had to let them cool a little bit before we filled them, but we sold out. In fact, that Saturday, the 20th, we had to fry some more for the people who weren't able to get the pastry.
Oh my gosh. So it reminds me in Italy, because I know when I'm there for St. Joseph's Day, the first thing I do when I wake up that morning is go to one of the coffee bars and get the Zeppoli, because in a so they do make the Zeppoli, and you could just get these gigantic, amazing Zeppoli. That was like the first.
The breakfast of champions. That's right.
Definitely. So are you able to have in restaurant dining, or it's all taken?
Yes, it worked out wonderful this year. We were able in upstate New York to have 75% indoor dining.
Oh, that's
so it was great. And we also set up for the family meals to go, and also regular to go meals, as well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you do meals there too, right? It's not just pastries.
Yes. So my brother and myself both went to the Culinary Institute of America. He studied in Boston. I studied in New York. And then I had an opportunity to get a scholarship to study in Torino. And then we had to do an internship. So I went to Palermo, and I fell in love with the pastry end of it. So between the two of us, we could do each other's job, but I like the pastries more. My brother likes the cooking.
Oh, wow, that works well then. So you
Yeah.
get each other. That's great.
Yeah, and our, we were fortunate. My mother is an incredible baker and cook, and
Uh-huh.
both of my grandparents were, and so we grew up in it. We love it. We love the traditions, and we really want everybody to carry on with these traditions because they're beautiful.
They are. They are really, really beautiful. And that's really what I love about Italian food is that they're so connected to traditions. It's not just a food that tastes wonderful. They're connected to so many different traditions and history and things like
Yes.
that. So, Dean, I know one of the things that I wanted to ask you about today, because I believe the film was just about released on Amazon Prime, As Long as We
Yes.
Shall Live, correct? So tell us, you had a part in that film, As Long as We Both Shall Live?
Yes, so they were filming in Utica because the producer and director actually married a native girl from Utica,
Uh-huh.
and so they were able to use this area to film, and they were looking for some extras. Well, when I went down to do the extra, they actually were looking for a speaking role. So I tried out, and I was fortunate to get it. I came back with a bunch of Italian pastries and sfogliatelles and cannolis because I heard Paul Sorvino was going to be in the film. So this man was incredible. We spoke Italian for 3 hours. We had a blast, and he just was an incredible guy. In fact, him and his wife wrote a cookbook together, and they sent me, they did a book signing from Yankee Stadium, and they sent me an autographed copy, and we had a nice little bond, and I send him cookies often. Just a great man, into the Italian culture, into the cooking and the art and the family aspect. So we had a lot in common.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I heard there was some opera singing going on. Is that
Oh God! Well, he's the opera singer. I was just kind of mimicking and doing some of the roles from Goodfellas and The Godfather. But he just a wonderful man, just very creative, and it's kind of hard to put him just as an actor. He does so many different things. Very talented, and like you said, I think as Italians, we all have this bond of family and food and traditions, and it's wonderful. And you meet them and you get excited and you talk about your family traditions and the foods, and you can talk forever.
Yes, definitely. You've got that right. So tell us about, I know you studied in the Culinary Institute of America. Is that correct?
Yes. So I graduated in 1990, and I was able to do an externship at the Water Club under Chef Rick Moonen, who now has restaurants in the Mandalay Bay in Vegas. And it was an amazing experience coming from a smaller town of Utica and falling in love with New York City and being able to do a lot of catering. And we did the Paul Bocuse d'Or in Chicago event. It just opened up my eyes to so many different things. But I always had this love with the Italian cuisine. So he got me a scholarship, 30 students in America, to go to Italy for 6 months, study in Torino, and then do an externship anywhere in Italy to study something that you want to specialize in.
Right.
So I chose the pastries, and I had friends in Palermo and Bagheria, and I was able to work a restaurant and a pastry shop and just totally fell in love with everything about Italy, from the people to the cuisine to the style, family, friends. It was wonderful.
Exactly. The one thing that I loved when I I haven't been to Sicily a whole lot, but on the mainland, like I knew a lot of people that were from Sicily, and they worked in Sicily, so they would take like a boat there.
Yes.
Or maybe they'd stay there for a couple of days, then come home on the weekend. They would bring the pastries, and the pastries are not like in America. A lot of places use tons of sugar, and I just can't eat them. But they were just delicate and like just a faint amount of sugar, just enough to give the taste, the cannolis and all the different things. I just was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God. We used to get delivered the ricotta in the bags. It would still be in the basket wet, and then we would mix it to make our cannoli creams. We used to make our own almond paste. We'd soak the almonds with the sugar. We put it through 2 marble slabs just to make the paste, and then make the pasta di mandorla cookies and also the martorana fruit. So it was a true art form. And I was fortunate to work for 4 older gentlemen, and incredible. We were right near the Vucceria in the antique part of Palermo. So the traditions were incredible. It was wonderful.
Oh gosh, it is. It's just amazing. It's hard to put into words.
It is. And no matter how many pictures of videos you show people, the excitement when you get there. I was just there, obviously, in 2019. It was fantastic. And I'm dying to go back. And I know so many people are, because it's so inviting. I don't think anybody entertains or is, welcoming as the Italians. They're incredible people.
Exactly. Where did you go? Tell us about any special places you traveled to in 2019 when you were there.
Well, we opened up a line. We're trying to do our line of pastries so we can sell to distributors. So I wanted to do our pasticciati, sfogliatelle, and our aragosta, the lobster tails.
Yes.
So I found a wonderful place in Napoli, and for them to do our recipe and buy them back and to distribute in the United States. So we finally received our shipment in the end of February, and it's a wonderful product our line is called Dolce Cannoli, and we're introducing that. But I fell in love with the Napoli region. My grandfather's mother was from there, and from Caserta. It's wonderful, and to me they're so colorful. The people, they're incredible.
They are. Did you go to like Amalfi, Positano, and Sorrento?
Right? It's like a movie. It's like like make believe. It's so pretty.
It is. It's just unbelievable. In fact, when I did my PBS series, I was supposed to start at some other place like near Rome, and they called me and they're like, "We're really sorry to tell you we can't go to," I forget the name of the town. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" They're like, but we're going to be going to Amalfi, Positano. We're going like, are you kidding me?
Let's just do the whole show there, right?
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, it is. It's just like words can't describe. So, tell us, Dean. I guess before you leave, do you have any recipes you can share with us, or something simple? I guess maybe people could do for Easter, or other than can people order, like if people want to order some bread or something from you online?
Yes. So we do some shipping, and we're going to concentrate on soon is trying to be able to ship all over. We did a lot with our cookie trays and things that don't require the refrigeration or freezing, because it gets a little expensive when you have to do things overnight. Yeah. But with the breads and the cookies, they can go next day, 2 days. Right. So we do a lot of that in on our Facebook page or our Instagram. If people will write in and we'll ship them cookies. We're doing like a whole line of 13 different varieties of the almond paste, the biscotti, Regina, in the cuccidad, the famous fig cookie as well. So
yes. Well, and if anybody out there, if you don't have the time to make Easter goodies, or really any time, definitely you want to order some stuff from Cafe CaNole. There's just nothing like it. Dean, so I was going to ask you to share if you have any kind of recipes you could share with the audience.
Yeah, well, one of the things that we made in Sicily for Easter is we made braciolone, which is kind of like the big involtini, where we took, you can do beef or pork, and you do like a force meat inside, almost like somebody would make their meatball mix, mixed with a little bit of hard-boiled eggs and some sliced prosciutto. Yes. And then you braise it in a sugo sauce with tomatoes and red wine, and it's wonderful. It's a labor of love, but it's worth it.
Yes, a lot of the Italian recipes only use It's not a lot of times, not a lot of ingredients.
No.
Time is actually the secret ingredient, I think, in many. Time and care, really, love. Yes,
and they like anything made with love tastes good, and it's good for you, even if it has lard in it. It's still good for you. It's made with love.
Exactly. So, Dean, I always ask my guests to share with us what does food mean to you. What would you say? What does food mean to you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I always ask my guests to share the answer to this question. What does food mean to you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. It means so many things. It's tradition. It's so important. Even in my family, my wife and my kids, we make sure we always eat every night around the table. I think I always have guests every Sunday. It means so much, the food. the kids now are getting older, so they help cook. And I try to share some of the traditions, and I show them some of the videos. And it's very important in our lives. From my mother and my grandparents, it always meant a lot to us. It's the preparation that makes the holiday for us. Even with Christmas or Easter, for example, we start baking and making all these homemade pasta and specialties the week of. And it's what you remember. It's so important, food.
Yes, it is. It creates memories.
Yes.
Definitely creates memories. Dean, thank you so much. And tell everybody where they can find Cafe CaNole.
Thank you. Yes. So we're located, it's actually in New Hartford, New York, which is 5 minutes outside of Utica, New York. We're on One Campion Road in New Hartford. And our phone number is 315-733-6592. Or you can see us on our Facebook or Instagram or our website at cafecanole.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Dean. And buona Pasqua.
Grazie anche te, Maria.
Grazie.
Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show and joining me in finding out what does food mean to you. Well, this is Maria Liberati. I'd also like to thank my producer, Britton Roselle, my production intern, Peter Saldino, for helping to organize this week's segment, and my special guest, chef and actor, Dean Nole from Cafe CaNole in Utica, New York. And be sure to visit when you're there if you want a traditional, authentic taste of Italy. It's worth a visit. And tell Dean you heard him on the Maria Liberati Show. And you can find me on Twitter at Maria Liberati with a capital M, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, and on LinkedIn at M for Maria, that's M Liberati. And please join me for my virtual Easter bake-along with Chef Joe Borio. I will be doing a traditional Italian lemon ricotta Easter bread, and Chef Joe will be doing another Easter specialty as well. And you can register for that from my website at marialiberati.com. You'll see the banner on the front page, or you can go to eventbrite.com where you have to register for the event. I hope to see you there. Looking forward to meeting everyone and celebrating spring and Easter together. And that's on Friday, April 2nd from 2 to 4:30. So please register. There's a few days left and a few spots left. And you can find my recipes and more recipes at my blog at marialiberati.com, and my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking and The Basic Art of. You can find those books at marialiberati.com and anywhere books are sold. And please share your pictures of any of the dishes that you create from my recipes on the Maria Liberati Show. If you create any of the Easter breads that I shared, or any of those Easter specialties that I talked about from all around the world, please share a photo, hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, and you may be selected to win an autographed copy of one of my books from my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking and The Basic Art of. And also, as always, share on social media, what does food mean to you, in a post of 50 words or less. Hashtag it the Maria Liberati Show, and you may be selected for an autographed copy of a book from my book series. And I also like to mention that we're starting a restaurant of the week. Not every week, but certain weeks we'll honor restaurants, and this week's was Cafe CaNole in Utica, New York. It's so important to support the restaurants out there during this crisis that the world is having, so that we show our support and our love for those restaurants and restaurant workers out there. So this week we're honoring Cafe CaNole. And this is Maria Liberati saying, until next time, peace, love, and pasta.